it works! Yes, so here, TongFu Complexity Game number 2, the International 2. I am here with TriumphOfMan. And how are you experiencing your 8th game of today so far?
I'm a little hungry. I should have bought food, but this definitely has kept me on the edge of my seat. And Complexity busting out a really strong. I honestly didn't think they had it. No, I thought TongFu were going to lock that one down. But as this, Complexity found some gaps in their armor and just blew it right open. And unfortunately, Lone Druid was brought low multiple times. But those bands, I mean, there we go. The Lycan band every single time. I'm really.
And Darkseer.
Oh, those poor heroes. They never get to see the live day.
It's kind of sad.
Although, except for Naga, I hate that hero. She's such a jerk and so annoying. You have this epic team fight, get so ramped up, and then denied. Talk to their hand, she pops her ultimate and runs away every 60 seconds.
You should look at it from the other side, though. There is a possibility for a team fight, but it's a stalemate, and Naga Siren pops her song, everybody moves into position, and we're gonna have a massive team fight straight afterwards. That's how you should think about it.
No, I just flip the table. I just flip the table every damn time.
Chinese style.
This time, now definitely, they get rid of the Nature's Prophet, though, and I'm just wondering, will we see a respect ban, getting rid of that Tiny? And even, I mean, Tiny, Hannah Montana has apparently played Tidehunter every single game almost. I don't know. You've seen more Complexity matches than I have. Is this true? Is this true?
Say again. I just got distracted by a comment in your chat. What was the
question? Okay. I hear that Hannah Montana has played Tidehunter every single game almost. Is this true?
I have not seen him play a different hero in the international qualifier so far. For all the matches that I've cast, for all the matches that I've seen, Hannah Montana, Tidehunter, solo lane, every single time.
Well, hey, if it's not broken, why fix it? I mean, it seems to be working just fine for them last time round. And especially with the Tiny, just hurl him in there. The Tiny hand grenades are absolutely excellent. Which, you know what we saw? We saw those, that's art. The art for the techies. I cannot wait for techie hand grenades. Those are fun. Those are absolutely fun. But, back to this game. Final ban for TongFu. Any predictions, Sheever?
Well, considering TongFu is taking so long for this ban, it's actually going to be Lashaka. I'm imagining them discussing, are we ready for another Tiny, should it come, or what are we going to do differently if we're facing a Tiny again, because it just looked like they weren't able to deal with that Tiny. That was the pick that kind of ruined TongFu's lineup in that game for sure. And for this game, my expectations, I'm thinking Tidehunter for Hannah Montana. I'm thinking maybe a Morphling if TC can get his hand on that. I'm not sure. I don't think they're gonna go for a Tiny again, because that's the thing about a Tiny. Once you've thrown it out there, I mean, I think it came as a surprise for TongFu that a Tiny was picked up in you know, at all. So I think the Complexity thinks, you know, it worked, but let's not push it. Let's just try something else that works for us as well, which is a Morphling on TC.
If they can get it, of course, it comes down to the sort of lineup that TongFu plays as well, but we'll see what TongFu open with here. They do have the first pick. Cutting a little fine though, and apparently TongFu have been punished a little bit. They are sitting on it long. Well, no, they just decide, you know what, let's do it again. And this is like, I've seen them play Lone Druid so many times. I think I noticed someone in your chat was saying, just how can't use Lone Druid? It's not true. How can farm Lone Druid as hard as burning almost? And it just comes down to that game. It was just, I think they really, like you said, Sheever, they really just got caught off guard by Complexity. Although I think they did derp it up a bit with Lone Druid charging off. When he had no town to back him, just, you know, farming that far and that deep up the lane when he had nothing really watching out for him. And it just came to a Tiny would just throw things at him and set the kills up.
Yeah, twice in a row that happened, and no wards for how to be protected by it either. So it was indeed getting caught out of position twice. It didn't help their cause. And yeah, what you said is totally right. I mean, I think the first time I saw how ever was a game where I was not aware, or I was aware, but I was not familiar with TongFu at all, and I saw him playing Queen of Pain. I remember I was going nuts that game because he was playing out of his mind, and he is indeed, I mean, farming wise, he is just as strong as Burning, or you know, Burning is of course known for his farming, but I think How can keep up for sure. Rubik pickup for Complexity, he didn't get banned out, it was actually the Chen banned out, and a Venomancer for Complexity as well. They made it work in game number 1, and IX Mike is gonna help make it work in game number 2 as well, I think.
We'll see what they pick. Yeah, we'll see what they pick up though. I'm just TongFu. So I guess we're going to see. Oh well, Invoker. There we go. So we're going to see that Lone Druid Invoker combo again, and they get the Tide, Hannah Montana. So everybody wanted to know what happens to Hannah Montana when he can't have Lone Druid. We're going to find out this game. Does he curl up in the corner and cry and die, or does he do something amazing with the hero?
I think Beastmaster though. I think Beastmaster. But yeah, he's maybe wanting to have a pause at the start of the game, but just for crying in the corner for a second, because his Tidehunter. I think TongFu realized that as well. It's like, okay, your Tidehunter worked pretty well in the previous game. We want that too. I would be very amused if TongFu actually picks up a Tiny right now as well. Just make that work for them. I don't think they will.
That would be awesome.
That would be hilarious.
That would be awesome, but just be like, have some of your own damn medicine and just start throwing that Tynata straight back at them. Yeah. But if they want to go for the hard carry now is the time to pick it. If they really want that Morphling or whatever carry that they want for TC, now is the time to pick it up, because they don't have to worry about getting counter-picked straight away. They can get rid of those. They can ban some of the common counter-picks to the particular carry that they like. Like we see Shadow Demon often used against anti-mage just because it really, really pisses him off. Chases him around the map and he's like, what, every time you try and do something, I'm just going to disrupt you, and you watch as your illusions burn all your mana away. Final pick, and they are taking their sweet time. It's going to be an Enchantress.
So, what is Hannah Montana going to play? And still TC, I mean, there is two people that you normally have. I mean, Fluff and Stuff is going to be playing Enchantress again. IS Mike on the Venomancer, which makes Jo playing the Rubik, by the way. But still, Hannah Montana, kind of, or at least we know, and I kind of am imagining that TongFu definitely did their homework as well. That they know which two players are still without a hero, so they can ban very specific heroes for their opponents right now, like a Morphling, like a Antimage, like a Beastmaster if they want to. They know what the heroes are. Beastmaster being banned out now by TongFu. They know what heroes are still needed for complexity, and that's the downside of having someone like Hannah Montana having two signature heroes, Beastmaster and Tidehunter. He can't get a Tidehunter, and now Beastmaster gets banned as well. What is he gonna play? Windrunner perhaps, a solo lane as well, but yeah.
I mean, it can be like this, the whole Korok situation. Like, Korok plays a hero, they ban that hero. Korok plays another hero, ban that hero. And just Korok, when he first busted in the Dota 2 scene, people just respect banning 5 heroes against him. For everything from Storm to Tiny, just everything. And Mirana just banning. It just turns out that Korok can just play everything and anything that he damn well feels like. But as it is, I'm just sure that Hannah Montana has something up his sleeve. But to be dead honest, if I had that shark hat that Hannah Montana had, I would play Tidehunter every freaking game too as well.
True.
I'll be on. It's true. But one more ban here for TongFu. What are they going to pick off? They're getting rid of those pushing heroes, and they get rid of the Tiny.
Nice. It still means that there's still Morphling in though, but TongFu has got first pick, so maybe they want that for themselves. Actually, for TongFu, in theory, they don't need any other hero on their lanes. I mean, every single hero on their lane so far can potentially solo lane. So we might see an unorthodox jungle hero for them. I mean, they're up against an Enchantress, and the Chen and Enigma are already out, which means that they won't be having the jungle hero, at least not a solid one. Although we have seen teams that
they will pick up.
Yeah, sorry.
I think they will pick up a Suicide Solo, because it is unlikely for them to put Hao if he's on that Lone Druid, which I think 99% sure that he will be on that Lone Druid. It's very unlikely for them to put them in the Suicide lane, and it's more likely they'll run the Invoker Solo mid. So they'll probably pick up a Suicide lane and probably another support here. Titan will probably relegate it to a soft support or a hard support, depending on how they feel like doing things. But basically, Titan is a big deterrent on pushing and basically trying to get in with early team fights because of that Ravage. And I think they'll use that to their advantage to just try and slow the game down and buy time for how to work his magic with that Chinese rice machine there. But one more pick here for TongFu. Also should mention that the Shadow Shaman, I think the Shadow Shaman was a very smart ban by Complexity, just because the Chinese teams do use that quite often as a hard support hero.
Definitely, and also in combination with the Lone Druid. And we've seen it before with the Shadow Shaman there and another support there. They don't need a jungle hero, they can just get their experience in the jungle themselves without really having a solid jungle hero, but still not getting behind because they lack that hero. And it's going to be a Shadow Demon support picked up for TongFu here. Let's see what Complexity is going to do with their remaining slots.
We'll see what he goes for. And yeah, the Shadow Demon, I like the Shadow. He's a really good hero. Just the fact that it makes it very hard. Like the issues they had last match was Lone Druid was getting picked up. Shadow Demon's one of his best moves is using disruption on an ally to save them. And we saw some of the AL games, Snoopy and his disruption saves were absolutely perfectly timed on Bleak. It's the kind of thing you can do with the Shadow Team, so I think it can really help them with their issues, which was Lone Druid was getting picked off repeatedly last match. But we'll see how it goes down. But I feel like their last pick should be a Suicide Hero for sure. But Complexity now, a couple more picks. So the question is, there we go, Dragonite. So I assume we're going to have TC play that, Sheever.
Yeah, I think the same thing. Like you said, Hannah Montana still needs that Suicide Lane hero. Not that much left in the pool though. Well, of course, in theory, Queen of Pain, Windrunner, Puck, all still in the pool. I think maybe Windrunner is probably the safest one in that case. Do you have the Dragonite to be the carry potential? Dragonite versus Lone Druid, I'm not sure. This is the first time I'm gonna see a Dragonite being played by Complexity, I think, and even so for me, the first time it's being played in the international group stages. And Lena, wow.
I think he's definitely a perfectly viable pick, and I like Lena and Shadow Demon go together really, like peanut butter and jelly basically. They are so damn good. Shadow Demon can set up those Light Strike waves. Like, that's one of the issues with Light Strike. It needs a setup, and that's what the disruption is. Sets everything up, and then you throw Soul Catcher on someone and smack them in the face with Laguna Blade, and there's no standing up to that. And when you're up against it like Dragonite, that can pretty much be the best way to get rid of him. Just Soul Catcher, set him up for a stun, and then slam him with that huge ass ult from Lena. And even if you can get if you get some damage in there from Invoker or whatever, Tynata, it's just so damn good. Any huge burst potential plus Shadow Demon is crazy. It equals just basically crazy damage. You really just cannot stop. So it's going to make it hard for Dragonite, despite being a monster of a tank, to stay alive, I think, if they decide to focus fire him.
Yeah, which makes me quite surprised that Dragonite was actually picked off after the Shadow Demon. They knew what they were dealing with. Wow, Brewmaster. So I'm not sure if TC is going to be playing the Dragonite or the Brewmaster. It could be either. Oh, it's going to be
just TC on my scene. But I mean, the Dragonite's okay. It can really help deal with it. At the same time, it's okay. They can take it on. They just have to make sure they keep Soul Catcher away from him. And if they send Hannah Montana in first just to sort of start brawling, they can just either throw Sandshang up in the whirlwind or take Lena out of the picture and just make sure. They just got to take one of the two parts out of the equation to make sure TC doesn't get absolutely blasted. I mean, that's the kind of thing you could, like, as long as they've got enough heals as well, they can really keep things going. But the main thing, I think the main reason they picked up the Dragonite is mostly because of his pushing power. Like, he's just something, he can do alright in the late game, he can scale alright into the late game, plus his pushing power is really, really good. And they don't need to babysit him too hard. They can leave him alone if necessary in the lane. But Sheever, do you want to introduce the teams here? While I just quickly...
I'll go over Complexity. We have got Yeo playing the Rubik, Fluff and Stuff on his Enchantress once again, IX Mike on his Venomeister, TC on his Dragonite, and Hannah Montana on his Brewmaster. And there is no surprise in which these heroes are playing. We went over that already with the last two, of course, TC and Hannah Montana being picked up at a later stage of the drafting phase. For TongFu, we have on the Radiant side, Mu is going to be playing Invoker, Kabu on the Lina, Awoke is going to be playing his Tidehunter. We're gonna see how playing the Lone Druid, who actually sends his Barret towards the top lane as well, is gonna try to get the Rune's vision there, maybe. I think at least. Or maybe scouting out who's gonna be on which lane. I'm missing one hero. Ah, there we go. Sun Shang, Shadow Demon, also on the top lane. They're gonna try to find someone. Of course, Shadow Demon is a very nice hero to have if you're gonna find someone in the jungle. Disruption there will make sure that Lena can set up her stun. There will be a gush, there will be a lot of right-click damage from the Invoker, but right now it doesn't matter because they're not gonna find anybody in that jungle. Are you back yet? By the way, I just thought I heard you.
I'm back. Yep, I'm back. Yeah, just quick shout out to Seb, by the way. He is awesome. He's one of my buddies. So anyway, continue on. Like you said, yeah, they all scatter around looking for trouble. Lone Druid, though, again going to be in that safe lane. And it just comes down to, do you think they can actually protect him? I think Kabu and Sanshin can cause enough of a mess this match.
I think so too, definitely. That combination is just deadly. As you already said, it's very difficult to deal with, and it looks like that might be a tri-lane with the Tidehunter being there to farm Invoker middle, and indeed a solo lane for How. I mean, he should be okay unless this is actually... it's gonna be TC farming here, and he's gonna be supported. We've seen a combination of this Fluff on Stuff and IX Mike before. They're gonna actually roaming around in the jungle with the two of them, making sure that TC will get farm regardless over the Lone Druid, or with the Lone Druid. Especially once he gets his Soul Ring up. And we're gonna have, roaming around IX Mike and Fluff and stuff. Tidehunter farming top.
I think this is good. This will work okay just because How can keep an eye on the back, on everything behind him. And the fact is, this bear will keep an eye on everything, make sure he doesn't get jumped too much, and as long as he doesn't die, he'll be okay. What was the real issue? It's not the level of farming, it's just the fact he just kept dying. If he can avoid doing that this match, it'll be fine. And this is pretty much gonna force, I think it's gonna force some kind of reaction from X-Mike and Fluff and stuff. I don't think they can stay here trying to disrupt House Farm for that long. They are going to have to do something about what's going on with that top lane, especially since those guys have a lot of chance to put a lot of pressure on mid. Although the same can be said for the Radiant supports who are in position. In fact, Lina, Kabu is sitting in behind Jo at the moment.
Yeah, he is by himself though, and he needs that setup for a stun to land. So I'm unsure if he really wants to go for that. Well, right now I have to say, yeah, his positioning is not all that great, and here indeed comes Lina thinking this is the perfect time to go for this. But Yeo sees something coming and is moving away, and now knows that he has to be careful because there's people missing from the map, and that could be devastating for him. And there's no wards for him up on the top side either. And we actually do have Sunshine now rotating here as well, and he is level 2, so he got his soul catcher. So if there is indeed a disruption to set it up, that is gonna be a kill.
Yeah, if he gets set up on, there is no way he's surviving. I think he just knew. He knew they were in there because he knew he knew from the intel that Fluff and stuff and that were providing that there was no support in there. So the only logical place for him to be is roaming around in his jungle behind him. That's why he was being really, really cautious. And he may have been moved in and then gone down the rib to try and bait them out and actually just double check if they were trying to gank him.
Yeah, Hao in this jungle is being very aggressive. He can't really leave his tower all too much because of course he's up for the semi-trial lane. But he harassed Mike a bit, and that bear is doing such an annoying job of constantly trying to block all the creep spawns. It's gonna be so annoying to deal with. Mike actually being forced back to his base, with the bear still being alive for now, but it will be resummoned again shortly if it's needed, which is not needed so far. At least for now, it's not. And this distraction is actually making sure that TC is getting some free farm. 14 for 3 up on his farm right now. With 14 for 5 up on the Tidehunter, who is also on the tri lane, semi-tri lane rather. He is getting free farm versus the Hannah Montana, whose main job is to survive. Hannah Montana will be waiting till he's level 6. He's actually quite far. Oh, actually, disruption, Sunstrike, Soul Catcher, Hannah Montana. Is he gonna drop? I think he is. He is. First blood. Lina picking up the kill, and that's the combination that we talked about.
Yeah, and especially with the Exalt Invoker, so it just gives him another nuke. There's this, as soon as the disruption lands, he's screwed. There is no way. As long as Lina is in position for that light strike away, there is no way for him to escape. He's just so screwed. And this comes to, like, I think they are going to, Complexity have to be really careful, just because TongFu can try and set up a lot of fights like this with the Exalt Invoker. They go for the Venomous Gale on the bear, not really working. I like what he's doing here, just dragging the creep wave away. I think he's trying to force his creep wave under the tower to get them killed off. We see Hao himself is actually dropping back all the way to just try and just body block the creep. No, he's not. He's just busy controlling the bear. Never mind. He's just hiding a long way back.
He's just getting the creeps behind the tower so that he can kill them off, because he kind of is quite behind on farm. 5 for 0. He needs that farm from those creeps, so that's the good way to deal with that. And yeah, otherwise he's not going to get any experience, so pretty wise in doing so. It will give some opportunity for, not only for TC to free farm, which he is still doing, but also for Complexity, possibly forcing down a tier 2 tower, tier 1 tower here. They have got the Enchantress to creep out of the jungle, they've got Venomman supports, even though it's level 1. Fortification actually gets put up here, but the pressure is on there, and here comes support coming in. Lina and Shadow Demon ganking team 101 on the way to the bottom lane. With Lina actually on front, so they're gonna see her, so they will be careful, knowing that the Shadow Demon is not gonna be far off. Even they have a ward, so they see him standing there as well, and they will be backing off.
Sanjing finds just going to get rid of it right now. There's just a little bit of contention over the creep up on the top. Shadow Demon's illusions just disappearing right about now. Fluff and stuff heading back to the mid, sort of just bumming around a bit, not really achieving. I think he's just decided the enemy jungle's possibly a little bit too hot, or has he changed his mind? He will be heading back in now. There are no wards to spot him up, so he will be safe from them. Oh, he might walk head first into Shadow Demon. This is not good news at all. If he can get that disruption off, no, Fluff and stuff. Too fast, he has boots, and Shadow Demon does lack them at the moment, but they do throw down a counter ward just to try and figure out if there's anything up there that may spot them up. Chantress, sorry, heading back. I think she's definitely decided the enemy jungle is way too hot and we'll head back to our own.
Yeah, that is indeed looking to be the case. Getting some creeps, getting some extra levels. She's level 3, not doing that bad, but you know, she wants some extra solid levels, and she's not gonna get that in the Radiant jungle. The counter wards are there, the stun or the kill combination is there. Sunshine and Kabu again looking for something. One disruption is all it takes. Sunstrike to follow it up. They really want it. They really want it. And Venomance or TC, which one is it gonna be? They're kind of coming from the side. Disruption will probably hit at least on IX Mike if he wants to. Yes, there's the disruption. So Sunstrike, disruption. Yeah, bye IX Mike. One last hit. Lone Druid picking up the kill. Gale hitting on Kabuto. They might try to go for this. Sunstrike is gonna hit on TC. No, it's not. Too slow. Kabu still taking damage from Yeo from the ground. There is the self keeping her alive, and it's TP out from the Chaos Knight. Not enough damage to kill him off before he is TP'd out, and he's still Yeo on the way. He doesn't have mana for another Fate Bolt. Kabu. Ravage being used. Yeo, he might not be dying, but at least he's not getting a kill on the Lina anymore. And here comes the disruption. Sunstrike not in the right place. Yeo Soul Catcher on there. He has a haste rune. Is he gonna be fast enough? I doubt he is. Ravage got stolen and he used it to get away. Big plays from Yeo here, and I'm not sure where he's gonna go. He doesn't have a TP. He has to walk out the normal way, and his haste rune is actually out right now, and here's a walk again. He doesn't have mana to do anything. Now he does though, has mana boots. Telekinesis up onto the high ground, and he doesn't have support. Has to eat his way through. Well, has to let someone else eat his way through rather. There we go. What a juke from Jo.
And he manages to pull it off. Absolute madness. And the fact he stole that Ravage, that is damn good. The fact the next team fight they're going to, they're going to be on pretty much an even footing thanks to that. Although it looks like Complexity are going to bring down this top tower nice and easy for them. So at least they are getting the tower advantage at the moment. They could go for this bottom tower as well if they want to just come down there. As TC does have his ultimate up, they could go for this push very shortly once, or if Jo ports to bottom anyway. There we go. He's porting bottom. They could go for a kill here and then go for the push. Especially since, well, you know, Ravage won't be up for another couple of minutes. He might not even bother holding onto it because it'll take so long to come back up anyway. He might just try and steal another stun of somebody else, or even a disruption off the Shadow Demon.
It's so tempting to just have the Ravage though.
I mean, have such a short, like, as soon as it comes to cooldown, he'll have such a short window of opportunity, be like, you know, maybe 40 seconds that he'll have to actually use it and find a fight. But he gets disrupted anyway. The Dragon Tail being used there on a Woke, as it looks like Zhao is actually blocked in by the illusions. That is unfortunate. And the Bear, fantastic play there from Hao, as well as the Shadow Demon.
Yeah, and Dragon Knight TC popped his ultimate, but he's not going to be able to use it. Tower still goes down, no Venomance ward securing that last hit. No deny, quite surprising for TongFu, but at least they get the tower, but they lost Yeo, which is not really ideal. And yeah, Dragon Knight's ultimate, I mean, they did get the tower in the end, but not because of the Dragon Knight's ultimate.
Dragon Knight though, he's going for the early drums. Pretty common to him. Dragon Knight has a really insanely flexible. I've seen I don't know how many different builds have you seen for Dragon. I've seen so many, it's nuts. I've seen everything from Lothers to Mjolnir to Sanjin Yash to Heaven's Halberd, or just straight BKBs, or going for just full on tank with Assault Curious and the Piperist team and Vanguards. It's been really weird.
Well,
so they're going to chuck a rock at a Woke.
Yeah, chuck a rock. And the Tornado, and then I think they're going to be able to get back, or to be back here, unless Brewmaster's going to be turning into his own self shortly, and there's going to be a Ravage, maybe. Yes, there it is. They want to go for that Sunstrike. Hannah Montana is going to be dropping here, but not before he takes down a Woke. He might be getting a boo. He is not dropping at all. He's got 35 HP. He took a double kill. Hannah Montana. Why is he not playing Brewmaster more often? Leave your Tidehunter alone for some time, but great play here by Hannah Montana. And of course, he couldn't have done it without the help of Fluff and Stuff coming in there to save his life.
I think a key thing at the moment is the fact that Lina is level 3. This is really, I feel, kind of crippling. Crippling TongFu at the moment. The fact that supports are really, really on level. Lina is level 3. Shadow Demon is only level 4. Whereas you look at the levels there for Complexity. The only low-level guy is Ixmark, level 4, so they've got those levels. If Lina been level 5 or so, even if she managed to get up to level 6 like the Enchantress has, that fight would have been so different. Yeah. Unfortunately, as it was, it stopped paying off for him.
of course, partly, I mean, we said it during a game earlier, that there is the Enchantress on complexity and Venomancer being the only real hard support, while Cabo and Sunshine, they've been trying to roam around getting kills, and they've not been getting that much, and they've missed out on a lot of experience because of it, and they are indeed very low on level, with Cabu really lowest there on level 3, almost level 4 low, but still low. Two very low on the side of TongFu, with only one being very low on the side of complexity, and that's the difference of having a hero in the jungle next to the golden experience. That complexity is of course getting extra that TongFu is not having.
I'm just looking at those charts now. They do indeed both favour the Dire. 4k gold lead is definitely going to become problematic, although of course the question is how well is Halfam. He is catching up just a bit. 42 CS at 11 minutes, for the amount of pressure that he was under, is not bad at all, considering how much pressure he was up against 3 heroes constantly just trying to annoy him and send him back. That is actually a pretty damn good farm. Yep. So that's, you know, to his credit there. And it's actually the Bear is coming to the mid lane, just trying to drive these heroes back. They are actually going to go for this mid tower here, though. And they are actually just, oh no, they're going to kill off the Dark Troll Warlord, although this tower, mid-tier tower for the Radiant, is probably going to get taken out. I don't think they can hold on this. They just are going to have to sacrifice it.
Yeah,
I'm just waiting for Invoker.
Waiting for Invoker for what?
I'm waiting for Invoker just to start really abusing those Forge Elementals, because honestly, I think they are one of the nastiest things he has in his arsenal. I'm really waiting for him to bust them out. I think the Sunstrike, like the Sunstrike thing is cute, but now that Shadow Demon and Lina actually pick up a little bit of damage of their own, and once they actually get some of their own levels, he won't need it so much, and then he can make some really big Forge Elementals, Cold Snap plays, that sort of stuff, or even the Ice Walls and the Forge Elementals. Really big stuff he can bust out, but I'm waiting for that still.
Yeah, and Brewmaster, with that double kill that he got, he picked up a Blink Dagger now. So he'll be able to team fight. I mean, it's not a Tidehunter Ravage, but it is at least some team fight for Hannah Montana to initiate. As he'll probably want to do that, but of course he doesn't want to do that with the Tidehunter having his Ravage up, and they know that it's up, and he might get forced out just now. He would head on 2 heroes here. Now there's a split. Telekinesis, Awoke is gonna drop here, and there he goes. Dragon Knight picking up the kill. Enchantress in the meantime dropping at a different part of the map. How is gonna be stunned here for a while, and he will drop as well. Double kill TC, and they're gonna be pushing this tier 2 tower. Complexity looking strong.
Yeah, the amount of CC they have is huge, and Moo in so much trouble. They've got so many stuns, and big stuns to Dragon Tail, of course, one of the most irritatingly long stuns that you can come across. And of course, Brewmaster is one of the biggest CC fiends you can find in this early game, of course, so it is locked to a very long cooldown. But as is, a lot of good pickoffs there for Complexity, and they should get the second tier mid tower as well, nice and easy. And of course, they do have the ability to steal stuff. Oh, actually, Battle Cry. I don't think Rubik really wanted that. He's managed to pick up Battle Cry.
Oh, that is.
But being able to steal stuns as well is fantastic.
Sorry.
Oh, it's like trying to get Stormbolt off Sven every friggin' time. Every friggin' time you get his level 1. You get his level 1 Battle Cry instead.
That is sad. That is sad. By the way, there's only one more tower left up on the side of TongFu. They're getting pressured very hard. And there's no towers down on the side of Complexity, and that is really hurting them right now, given that goal advantage to Complexity. And if you look at it late game, I mean, Dragon Knight and Brewmaster are definitely not helpless then, which you normally see if you have a very pushy, heavy lane up, that there is not going to be anything done late game. But they are pretty secure for late game as well, so TongFu at the back foot for sure, with Lauren Druid is farming, not as fast as he might want to though, missing those tower money. That tower money.
Oh, indeed. And it looks like they are definitely hurting just a bit. It looks like he's probably going for a 20-minute, I'd say 22 minute radiance again, unless they pick up a whole bunch of towers for him very, very quickly, which is looking unlikely at this point. The ganking lineup they had here was good, but they just didn't, like you said, they just didn't manage to convert it to kills. They did a lot of roaming around and then didn't really achieve a whole lot, whereas in the meantime, Enchantress did roam around a lot, but at the same time, she was still picking up farm. Like you said, as a jungler, she was still grabbing those creeps, still getting experience was the main thing. If Lina and Shadow Demon has still managed to keep their levels up, if they were level 6 now, this would be a much different game. The fact, or if they've been level 6 for like the last minute or so, this would be a very, very different game that have a much bigger threat value. But as it is, smoke being popped there by the Dire side, and they will start roaming. Oh no, they're just going to go after Lone Druid once again, and this time, Hao being a lot more cautious. He backs up, he backs the hell up and gets back to base.
But he doesn't know that they're there. Well, actually, Sentry Ward and the vision from the Spirit Bear. They know now it's smoke. Look at that. He's being seen, but, you know, sorry, he's not, is he being, yes, Sentry Ward, he's being seen, Lone Druid backing out. There is a Ravage up though on Awoke, so they might try to force something, but right now, at this point, if there would be a 5-on-5 team fight, I would put Complexity in the win.
Definitely, I think Complexity definitely, just the amount of lockdown that they have, as long as they can ride out that Ravage. The Ravage is really the main thing that's keeping TongFu in this game and really giving Complexity a pause. Apart from that Ravage though, they're not too worried about. So if they can bait out a bad Ravage, or if they can just, like they were doing before, just isolate and hammer, absolutely hammer that Tyrant before he can, I think it came down to the fact that his Kraken Shell doesn't manage to get rid of the Telekinesis. So as long as they can lock him down inside that Telekinesis while they nuke him down, that's the main thing. And get rid of him, then I think they've, like we saw, they have free reign to pick up a whole bunch of heroes and push as many talents as they want. And here we go. Here is an easy Roshan kill for them as well. I'm just wondering who they're going to give it to. It's going to be DK, of course. And it looks like Dragonite's just doing the fast BKB this match, which makes perfect sense to me. It's going to make sure he doesn't get hammered by that Radiance, but as also, it prevents Tidehunter from hammering. Oh, basically, it keeps the combo off him. It keeps that
deadly
Soul Catcher and Laguna Blade combo off him.
Because that is a very deadly combination. We've seen it before, and it's just it's not easy to deal with. And if you want to have one specific spell to deal to kill off very tanky heroes, that Soul Catcher is gonna be the one. And that BKB will make sure that at least he won't be hit by that for the duration of the BKB, of course. And he's gonna be able to maybe kill off some heroes in the time. And it looks like Complexity is just gonna be given the tower on the bottom lane. TongFu don't want to fight. They don't want to contested. They try to take something in return on the top lane, but they're not able to get it. How might be in some trouble right now. We've got a split from the Brewmaster, stun on Sunshine, Telekinesis, Gale, Sunstrike. The disruption is defensive though for now, but is it gonna be enough? I don't think so. Look at that block, and he gets stunned again, and he goes down. Rubik picking up the kill. Sunshine now on the back foot, and there's a blink in. Sunstrike not gonna hit. Well, actually, Evoker picking up the Venomancer with the Sunstrike. Sunsheng's still gonna go down though. Brewmaster picking up the kill, and we saw, yeah, we didn't see it, but still, I'm quite impressed. Venomancer, Sunstrike was at least getting a kill for TongFu. But yeah, it's again a lone druid that gets picked off, and he's not yet ready with his farm. He's got 3,300 gold. He's not ready yet to fight, and Complexity is making him fight.
I almost feel like they should have rotated the Lone Druid a little bit earlier and just pulled. But the Genki strategy, like, it got a good kill in, but I think they should have pulled it a little bit further and just a little bit earlier and just come down to the bottom lane to support Hao a little bit faster, because right now he's just not getting that farm that he needed at all. Still working towards, I think it's going to be later than 22 minutes on that Radiance. He is still working towards that Relic, and he keeps getting ganked too. This is the issue. He's losing space to farm because they've lost all their outer towers, and Complexity are taking control of this map. As we see KO actually coming towards me. He's picked up a haste, and it now looks like, well, actually no, he's just going to steal whatever Invoker had on him at the time, and it's in fact Forged Elementals. Oh, that is painful. Telekinesis and Forged Elementals is really going to give them plenty of time to hammer somebody.
Definitely, it is so deadly, and that minus armor that stacks, it is. I mean, Tidehunter is not going to be saved, Lone Druid is not going to be saved, that minus armor is going to hurt them so much, and he probably want to keep on to those Forged Elementals for a while, because they're just nice to have.
They are ridiculous, to be dead honest. They absolutely tear people apart, especially these really underfarmed, underleveled supports, Kabu and Sancheng. The Forged Elementals would just obliterate them. It would take, like, what, 6 hits and it'll tear Lina to shreds. She'll be on so low health, she'll have to back out of the fight almost immediately as soon as they start focusing her. But as it is, Hal's still working on that farm, and I don't think Complexity really don't feel any sense of urgency. They've got the BKB done on Dragonite, so they really have all that they want on him. And now he can just pick up something to help out his team, maybe pick up a pipe or something, or just grab some kind of damage item as well. They could just go Armlet, could do anything he really feels like.
Yeah, right now...
As I see a smoke there.
Oh,
never mind, it was just Fluff and stuff lurking. He was thinking about something, but in the end, didn't go for it.
Okay. Yeah, he was smoked up by himself. And yeah, right now, I mean, Complexity, they took all the money from the towers. Oh, blink in. Wow, Sunshine, disruption is there. He is still slowed by the clap, though. I do think that he's probably gonna drop there. And Impetus getting the kill. How in a world of trouble right there. Gets picked up. Enchantress double kill. BKB on up TC. I'm not sure if that was really needed, but, you know, better safe than sorry. And they are having again a kill on the Lone Druid, and this time they're gonna use it to try to take down the tier 3 tower in the mid lane. They've got the setup, they've got the creep wave, they've got the Venomancer supports, they got the Forged Elementals, Forged Spirits rather. Fortification gets popped, but it's still gonna be a lot of damage to this tower.
Yeah, I don't think they can hold this, and there we go. TC in a little bit of trouble. There's the Laguna Blade as well as the Soul Catcher, but it's only a level 1 Laguna Blade, and TC is a much tankier hero than they want at the moment. Like, he's just so damn fat right now. With the BKB, he's got a lot of extra health and all the good stats from the Drums of Endurance, and they just basically... They just cannot compete with complexity. No, TongFu just cannot get near this fight. They're just spamming Forge. They're spamming this Forge Spirits, just spamming a bit of AoE. And if they don't get the Rex this time around, Sheever, I think they'll be back in a few minutes to finish the job off.
Yeah, it looks like they're sticking around for now, though. I mean, those Forced Elementals are just hitting on those barracks. Venomancer's Wards helping out, and Complexity just sticking around here. They're not going anywhere. Of course, they have the threat of a Ravage there from the Tidehunter. And they know that that's why they're not going to go in, but they have a lot of stuff that can go in, like the Forged Elementals, like the Venomancer Ward. Look at that! There goes the melee barracks. They didn't even have to put themselves at risk for that one. It just dropped. Rubik MVP for the barracks going down at least.
Definitely. And it looks like they've finally got the Sacred Relic on the bear at the moment, but as it is, it's just come too little too late. It's just not when they needed it. They really needed it around about that 15-minute mark, which is, I mean, that's how Can farm it at. He just didn't have the support necessary this game. They kind of just sort of left him alone for too long, didn't back him up, didn't help defend him, and they are really bleeding because of it. Rubik finding himself a regeneration rune, and at the moment, like, they've got a lot of sustainability. They could just go charging back in as soon as DK gets, or in fact his ultimate's already back up. As soon as Brewmaster's ultimate's back up, actually, they're going to need a good minute for that to come back. Now, Sheever, I don't really see TongFu having many avenues to come back just because they're so far behind on Lone Druid, and Sansheng and Carbo are such non-factors at this point in time.
Well, I was going to say that what TongFu needed to do to get back on top of this game was take a team fight, because the kills are still quite even. I do think with a good team fight they can still get it if they don't get 5-on-5, but like 5-on-4 or 5-on-3 perhaps. And Tidehunter just picked up his Blink Dagger, so we might see that being done relatively soon. Sunstrike gonna kill off the Lone Druid on the top lane. Or at least, sorry, Brewmaster killing off the Lone Druid. Sunstrike not helping out to save his life. Obviously the Sunstrike was on his own team. And we saw Tidehunter thinking about going in, but there was not enough support. He is now with a level 2 Ravage, but there needs to be a Lone Druid to do the damage after he Ravages. That is his trouble right now, and he is gonna get put into disruption to save his life for now. Where did he go? Oh, he blinks away, not rather than in. Confusing.
And I noticed that Jo did actually steal the ultimate form, the bear form from Lone Druid. He has actually picked up Chaos Meteor instead. That is going to hit extremely hard if he can get in there with it. Although it looks like they're just waiting for a moment. Going to wait for that next creep wave. At the moment, they do have the BKB still up. TC could pop that to advance through the Ice Wall. This is doing a ton of damage. The Ravage gets popped, but here comes the Panda, the Primal Split, and it looks like he's in a lot of trouble. Chaos Meteor gets thrown down on top of Awoke, and he is going to get nailed there. Well, and being used there on top of Sansheng, he's going to get thrown in the air, while the Force Staff going to save Mu at the moment, for just a few seconds, although there goes the ultimate that's, Purge getting thrown down. I'm not sure whose Ice Wall. They just know that is Invoker's Ice Wall. It doesn't belong to Rubik, who has nicked it. He actually has got Laguna Blade at the moment. This could be deadly. There it is! It nails Invoker.
And the
and I think
that Laguna Blade, he stole that. It was level 1, but still. It's just the cherry on top for Yeo with his stealing of spells. Wow, Complexity taking 2 games so convincingly against TongFu. And, I mean...
I didn't think they had it in them. What a fool I am.
Well, I thought TongFu looked very strong in the rest of the tournament, but they just weren't able to bring their strategies to life against Complexity. Complexity just being able to keep the pressure on constantly, first with a Tiny, now with just 2 heroes, with Dragon Knight, with Brewmaster, able to just keep the pressure on, and they pushed so fast as well. Those towers were down so fast, and it didn't get turned around anymore. Lone Druid, like we saw it being turned around by DK earlier, that wasn't the case for TongFu. He didn't get his farm up in time. And Complexity just taking 2 points here from TongFu.
Well, yeah, the two big differences. I mean, the big difference was that they had that big brawling hero, which was the Brewmaster. And the thing is, they just didn't keep basically running into a wall which was just sort of trading kills, trading kills, trading kills. I've got to say that Bounty Hunter was pretty influential in getting against AL, in getting DK back up to speed, whereas unfortunately Hao just didn't have the same benefit from all those track kills that Burning did.
That is 100% true. And we're gonna have another matchup shortly. So stick around for more games, Dota 2 International Group Stage, and I'm not 100% sure yet which game it's gonna be, but we'll find out, so stay tuned, don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back.